So this is the quadratic formula, which is stated as x is equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this, just by using this formula, we can easily find the value of x. अभी ये थोड़ा अजीब है कि जो दिया गया इक्वेशन है वो खुद से क्वाड्रेटिक नहीं है, but what are we going to do? We are going to convert it into a quadratic equation and then solve it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start solving a equation which is not quadratic on its own, but we convert it into quadratic equation, solve it and get the final value. Hey learners, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about quadratic equations. In our previous video, we have talked about solving quadratic equations using a method called factorization. Today we are going to talk about a method called the formula method, in which we are going to use a formula to solve quadratic equation. This formula is also called as the quadratic formula. But before we start with this, let us have a quick recap of what we did. In the last session, we talked about del, or the discriminant, which was defined as del is equal to b square minus 4ac, and it gave us the nature of the root. There was also a sum that appeared in the last part, which I was not able to do using factorization. Then I had told you that we would be doing it by the formula method. So we would be doing it by formula method today. So please stay tuned for it. Now, this is the value of del. We are going to use the value of del in the formula. So this is the quadratic formula, which is stated as x is equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this, just by using this formula, we can easily find the value of x. Now this formula I have also introduced when we did the chapter called banking, where we had to find the number of months for which the amount was deposited in the recurring deposit. This is one formula that you would find very useful and very handy throughout the entire maths book, because whenever we are going to solve a quadratic equation, it is always a good idea to use this formula because it is the easiest way to find the answer. We are not going to generally get things easily when we have larger numbers, when we do the factorization method. But for this particular formula, we don't have to worry about it because it's just multiplication and division. So what do we have here? We take any quadratic equation, we compare it with the standard quadratic equation, find the value of a, b and c, put it in this formula and get the final answer. So this is the simplest algorithm that we can get. Step 1, find a, b, c by comparing the given equation with the standard equation. Step 2, put the values in the quadratic formula. Now this is again an exam trick that you can use. Don't put it directly. Always first find the value of del. Check whether the given equation is solvable or not. If it is solvable, first find the value of del and the value of root del, and then we can get the final answer by putting this value you already know from here, and this value also we already know from here. So without losing any time, let us check out this one particular example that we were stuck in the previous session. So the equation that we had discussed was 2x square plus 6x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now when we compare it with the standard quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, अपन को मिलेगा a is equal to 2, b is equal to 6 और c is equal to 3. इसके बाद अपन del के फॉर्मूला में डालेंगे उसको पहले. So we get 6 square minus 4 times 2 times 3, that is 36 minus 24, which would be equal to 12, which is greater than 0. So from the previous session we know that the answer, the solution is going to be a real and unequal roots. So let's go ahead. First thing we do is we find the root of 12. Root of 12 is approximately equal to 3.464. So we can write x is equal to 6 plus minus. So we have either plus or minus because we are going to get two unequal roots. So there would be b minus b plus and minus that particular part. So it would be 6 plus minus 3.464 divided by 2 times 2 because a is 2. So we can put the plus part separately. So if I use the plus sign, it would be minus 6 plus 3.464 giving me minus 2.536 upon 4. If I subtract 6 minus 3.464, it would give me minus 9.464 divided by 4. So in both the cases we have divided by 4. Once we divide it by 4, our final answer would be equal to minus 0.634 or minus 2.266. Now, generally whenever they ask these kind of sums in the exams, they would say how many digits you need to mention. So whatever the number of digits they are mentioning, you have to do plus 1 that digit until this step. And then in the last step, you write the approximation of your answer. So in this case, if they had asked us to do it up until 2 digits, we would have written the first part as minus 0.63 and the second part as minus 2.37. Because this, since we have to consider only 2 digits, we would be considering 63. Since it's a 4 after that, we would just chuck it. And here, since it's 6, which is larger than 5, we would raise this particular digit by 1. So this was about solving a quadratic equation using the formula method. Now let us take one more example so that you can get a better grasp of this particular topic. Now let us start with this sum which looks slightly different. The sum is x minus 18 upon x is equal to 6. Now here they have given us one more thing along with one more piece of information along in the question. That is, the answer is to be given till 2 significant figures, meaning it should have 2 significant figures. Now what are significant figures? These are the figures that are to be considered. There are certain rules to be followed when we talk about significant figures. We have a completely different video for significant figures. The link is given in the description box. Please check it if you have any queries regarding significant figures. Now, so here we have, so first thing we do is we multiply both sides by x. So we get x square, x gets multiplied by x, we get x square, minus 18 upon x gets multiplied by x, we get 18, and 6 gets multiplied by x, we get 6x. Then we get this 6 on the other side. So we can bring this 6 on this side and it would become a minus 6. Since it was a plus 6 here, it comes on this side, it becomes a minus 6. We get x square minus 6x minus 18 is equal to 0. Now, when we compare it with our standard quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, we'll get a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 6 and c is equal to minus 18. So, then first thing we do is we find the value of delta or the discriminant. The discriminant would be b square minus 4ac. So it would be minus 6 square minus 4 times 1 times minus 18, and we get the final answer as 36 minus 72, giving the final answer as 108. So we find the root of it. Root of b square minus 4ac would be root of 108, which would be 10.392. Now again, we have to find it till 2 significant digits, but in the intermediate steps, we will try to keep more digits. We generally keep 3 decimals for the intermediate steps, and we write the final answer in this particular format only. So this particular format would be used only for the final answer. So here we can have x is equal to minus b plus minus. So we use the quadratic formula that is written up here. That is minus b plus minus b square minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So we put in the values here, and then our answer can either be 6 plus 10.392 by 2 or 6 minus 10.392 upon 2, giving us, if I solve this first part, I would get 8.196, but we need only 2 significant figures, so we are going to round it off. So the entire thing gets rounded off, 1.196 gets rounded off to 0.2 because it is very close to 0.2. So we write the final answer as 8.2, and on this side it would be 2 minus 2.196. Here also that 0.196 would get rounded off to 0.2, giving us the final answer as minus 2.2. So this was about solving examples using the quadratic formula. Now let us go ahead and check out when the given equation is not actually a quadratic equation. अभी ये थोड़ा अजीब है कि जो दिया गया इक्वेशन है वो खुद से quadratic नहीं है. But what are we going to do? We are going to convert it into a quadratic equation and then solve it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start solving a equation which is not quadratic on its own, but we convert it into quadratic equation, solve it and get the final value. These kind of equations which are not quadratic equations themselves but can be solved using the quadratic equation formula or the quadratic equation algorithm are called as equations reducible to quadratic equation. So let us go ahead and see these equations. So friends, अभी ये वाला जो equation है थोड़ा सा अलग है. Here we have 2x to the power of 4 minus 5x square plus 3 is equal to 0. As it is on its own, it's not a quadratic equation, but it is convertible to quadratic equation. So अपन उसको quadratic equation कैसे बना सकते हैं? By taking y is equal to x square. So we are redefining another variable which is y and it is equal to x square. So then it would become a quadratic equation in the variable y, and then we will solve it for y. So we get a, b and c. A, b and c का value is a का value is 2, a का value is 2, b का value is 5 minus 5 and c का value is 3. So del का value would be b square minus 4ac, giving us 25 minus 4 times 2 times 3, final answer being 1. I wish आप सब लोगों को एग्जाम में इस टाइप का सम आ जाए जिसका del 1 हो, ताकि ये बहुत आसान हो जाए and you would get perfect marks in it. Okay, now we have root of b square minus 4ac would be plus minus 1. तो उसको अपन ने अपने quadratic formula में डाल दिया. For y we'll get y is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. तो b का value है minus 5, so it would be minus 5, minus of minus 5 plus minus 1 upon 2 multiplied by 2, that would be 5 plus 1 upon 4 or 5 minus 1 upon 4, giving us y is equal to 3 by 2 or y is equal to 1. अब ये मेरे y के values है, मेरे x square के values है. I want to find the values of x square. So what would I do? I'd compare it again. I'd get x square is equal to 3 by 2 or x square is equal to 1. दोनों को root लिया दोनों side में, I'll get x is equal to plus minus root of 3 by 2 और plus minus x is equal to plus minus 1. अभी यहाँ पे जो है वो root में denominator में root 2 आ रहा है यहाँ पे, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अपन डायरेक्टली नहीं लिख सकते, वी नीड टू रैशनलाइज द डिनोमिनेटर. रैशनलाइजेशन का वीडियो का लिंक इधर ऊपर दिया है, डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में भी लिखा है. प्लीज गो अहेड विद दैट एज वेल, चेक आउट दैट वीडियो की रैशनलाइजेशन करते कैसे. ओके, सो इसका जो रैशनलाइजेशन होगा दैट वुड बी रूट 3 अपॉन रूट 2 का रैशनलाइजेशन होगा रूट 6 अपॉन 2. तो मेरा वैल्यू x का वैल्यूज हो जाएंगे रूट 6 अपॉन 2 माइनस रूट 6 अपॉन 2 प्लस 1 एंड माइनस 1. So learners, this was all about quadratic equations and solving quadratic equations. We would be doing a separate video on solving quadratic equations so that you get a better grasp on this particular topic. So this was it for today. If you found this video interesting, please give us a like, share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. This was Dr. Rishi from the Learners Academy. Thank you.